Hi FlashTube, it's Diane. Thought I'd do my September monthly update. I know I did a live YouTube last night of my WIPs, so I wanted to do my monthly update before I forgot. It's been a long day. I got a text at 6 this morning, my time. And it was from my husband, and he said, well, I'm safe. I was sleeping, and I'll call you later. I thought, oh, okay. When my husband's out of town on work, I have my cell phone in the room with me, otherwise I leave it elsewhere. And I thought, okay, well, that's weird. Sorry, let me turn this off. There we go. And I had to get up. We do Azure standard. I'm a drop point manager, and so the boys and I were waiting for the truck so we can unload the truck. It brings bulk food item things once a month, and so we waited for the truck, and my 17-year-old said, "Mom, there was a shooting in Vegas." What? What do you mean there's a shooting in Vegas? My husband is in Vegas on business. He's staying at the Mandalay Bay Hotel. He was woke up at 4 this morning with 3 SWAT officers, weapons drawn, and 2 at the door. They were sweeping room by room by room because there was a shooter who shot, as of right now, the death toll is 59 people lost their lives, and over 500 people were injured. So he shot. My husband was 5 floors below him. His hotel was on lockdown, and it wasn't on lockdown, and it was, as things changed. There's security visible everywhere. I still haven't processed it. It still hasn't sunk in. My husband, when he called me last night to say he had arrived and we talked a little bit, he said, well, I'm in my hotel room and I'm just going to chill, probably go to bed early so I'm ready for the conference tomorrow, which would have been today. Excuse me a minute. And he said, oh yeah, there's this music festival outside my hotel room window. Hope they're not up till, midnight or 2, because I really need to be awake for this conference. And that music festival became the target of that gunman. I've been watching the news on and off all day. When my husband's out of town, I pray for the plane ride. I pray for drives to and from airport, if he has to go anywhere, if there's weather in the area. I've never thought I would need to pray for when he is in his hotel bed, sleeping. So, it was hard to have to text my children. My oldest 3 children who don't live at home anymore because 2 of them have their own apartments, and one's my Marine, and your dad's okay. He's in Vegas. He's in the Mandalay Hotel. He can't leave. Yeah, that was hard. My young children know something happened, but I don't think they understand. I just remember when my 17-year-old told me that, and I looked at the phone, and I'm like, the Mandalay Bay, that's his hotel. And so my 17-year-old, my 15-year-old, my 13-year-old, my 14-year-old, we all just kind of looked at each other like, huh? And then the text made sense. My husband, I've talked to him several times today, and yeah, he's still shell-shocked. He heard the shots. Didn't quite understand what was going on. But I will say, I admire the Las Vegas Police Department they have a hard job to do. I can't imagine being a police officer, what you see day in and day out. Kudos to you. And the community of Las Vegas, they're bringing, so there are blockades in certain areas you can't get around. They're bringing cases of water so the police officers, the EMTs, the nurses and surgeons and can have water and snacks, because they've pretty much been on duty, a lot of them 24 hours, because they want to help. And people are still in critical condition is my understanding. But and then going to the blood bank and donating blood, they literally had hundreds of people willing to stand in line for 5 hours to donate blood. And they had other people from the community bringing water, snacks. Some people picked those little pop-up tent thingies so people could stay out of the sun and you know, be cooler in the heat. But they were nobody left. They said it's going to be 5 hours, and nobody left. So kudos to you, Vegas, your community. And my husband and I had been teasing each other on the way to the airport yesterday. One of these days I'm going to go on these business trips with him. I said, yeah, I could go to Vegas with you this time, and you go to the conference, and I could go to this great stitching store I keep hearing about in Vegas. And then wake up and have this happen. I don't get it. So I'm going to make a YouTube video and talk about stitching, get my mind on something else. There's no way I could sleep. My mind is just, and he's not going to be able to be home for a few more days, and yeah, it's just not. When things like this happen, it just breaks your heart. I don't care where it happens, it just breaks your heart. But let's talk stitching. What did I stitch on in it's October already, October 2nd. What did I stitch on in September? I have 2 finishes. One of them is a surprise finish. And one almost finished. I'm close. So let me show that one first. And that is this one. Grace and Love Birth Sampler by Stony Creek. I'm doing this for my youngest son. And I will admit, there's things about this pattern, the bunny, so-called bunnies, those don't look right. I mean, the ears and the nose, they just don't look right. So what I've done is I've added a stitch and extended the back stitch so the ears are longer, and then the nose, excuse me, instead of the color that they have, or no, they outline the nose, that's what it is. Yeah, they back stitch the nose for some weird reason. I'm going to put a pink bead there, and if that doesn't look right, I'm going to put a light pink color in there. So it actually looks like a nose. But also the name here. You have 12 letters shown. My son, his first name is 7 letters and his second name is 6 letters, so it's 13. It won't fit. And I'm like, really? I have another son who has 13 letters between his first and middle name. It wouldn't fit on here either. So they could have, you know, brought it out just to kind of accommodate longer names. So what I did is I have his first name here, his middle name, and then I chose the same size font and I put it in here. And I had enough fabric that I didn't have to worry if I was going to run out of fabric or not. So first name, middle name, last name. Then I put the date he was born and his stats. And this Atlanta, Georgia, I don't know why you would need the city, state on their birth sampler, so I took that out. So altogether, I'm only adding 4 rows, so I've got plenty of room. Where I'm at on stitching this right now is I've done all these diamonds here. I have to add more of these diamond eyelets, a little back stitching up here, and this this specialty stitch here, which is the pulled ring back stitching. This one I'm nervous about because it's pulled and I've never done this one before. Here is the Scotch stitch, and I've done that one before. And these diamond satin stitch, or excuse me, diagonal satin stitch, and then diamond satin stitch. So the diagonal are the little ones, they kind of frame them, and then the diamond are the big ones in the middle. I've done those before, and I am currently on this line of the flowers, so I just have that little bit there. I have to finish these eyelets, a little bit of back stitching in here. There's these hearts. I don't know if you can see them. They're hard to see on the pattern. You could probably see them on the piece, and then that section, and there's a handful of beads I have to add. It's almost done. This is 32 count, excuse me, it's not. It's 28 count Jobelin. The color is called China Pearl, and I really like this color. It's kind of a gray-green neutral color, and it plays very well with the colors of the floss. I'm not a pastel person, but these are more muted colors, so they work really, really well together. And here is where I'm at. So I've got that. So here's where that pulled stitch will be. And then the bunnies that I changed. He doesn't have any eyes because that's a bead, as same with the birds. So they'll have eyes when we're all said and done. And then here's the Scotch stitch. The dark blue are satin stitch are angled this way, and the light blue angled this way, so it gives kind of a woven look. And then there's, see, I need this one heart here. You can see the other hearts. And then I have that all done, and that done, and I gotta finish these eyelets. And I've covered up his name for privacy's sake. So this is almost done. And I have 8 goals for 2017. And this is number 1, goal number 1. I have 6 of my 8 goals done. So this would be number 7 of those goals. And the other goal would be grasshopper pie, like lemon face. Finishes. When I did my live WIP thing last night, but before that I recorded a WIP video that I never posted. And when I was doing that, I pulled out this one, The Lord is My Shepherd by My Big Toe Designs. I had all this done. I was working on the border. And then I looked at it, and I thought, you know, I really don't like that border. I like, okay, their designs, I've done others of their designs. This is the first big one of theirs. I've done the small building block ones. And I like those borders, but this border just didn't, I don't know, didn't grab me. So I took the border out. So it's a finish. 32 count Belfast. I gotta sit back a little bit because it's a big finish. So, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Kind of apt timing. But it's done. This piece of fabric, okay, this, I showed this last month. This is my round robin. This is a fat quarter. This is 21 by 31, just the piece of fabric alone, without the border. So for Stitch from Stash, I figured out how wide the border was and removed those stitches. Still, it's huge. But to be honest, if it wasn't for Floss Tube, I would have never had the courage to say, you know what, I don't need the border. We're good. Oh, I should say the fiber, the green is called Baby Spinach by Gentle Arts. And the purple here, these flowers, you can see it better here, is called Sugar Plum, also by Gentle Arts. So it's done. Woohoo! Oh, that was good. But you know what? When I was going through my WIPs for the video that was never posted, I found a couple finishes that I've been looking for months. And I finished these in January, and for some strange reason I put them in a WIP bag. I have no clue why I put them in that bag, but when my son went to boot camp for the Marines, I needed a new start. So I pulled out a freebie that I found at Keepsakes. Yes, Pam and Steph's Keepsakes. I've met Barb. She's a really, really nice person. If you have a chance, meet her. She's really nice. And in her shop, she had some freebies. And so when I was there, I picked this one up. It's by Glendon Place. And it's called Noel. This is that MCG textile, so it's not completely square, but I'm going to finish this as a pillow ornament. And nobody will know. The fiber is Thread Gather or Silken Colors. It's called Midsummer. Yeah, Midsummer Vineyard. I love the colors on this. And this kind of that old Gothic style. I like that. When I was done with that one, it didn't take me too long. A few days in the evenings. But it really helped pull me out of my funk. So then I pulled out another one that I also picked up at Keepsakes. This one. It's called Winter by Trail Creek Farms. Pause. Just a moment. Okay. And I know this one was a model in Barb's shop. I don't remember if this one was or not. But I know this one was. Originally it's called for either Gentle Arts or Crescent Colors. Maybe Weeks. But I use Carrie's Creation Cottons. Sorry, my son just got home from work. This dark color is Chimera. This light blue is Blue Lagoon. This purple is Plum Passion. And I didn't notice this until I did that video you guys never saw. I couldn't figure out what these two little stitches were here were for. It's the snowman peeking over the words. So it turned out really cute, and I like these colors. And Carrie's Creation Cottons are wonderful to stitch with. You're probably going, okay, what's with the pink border? I originally had, before I stitched this one, I did this one. And it was one where you bought the fibers and you got the pattern for free. And you know that Alleluia moment? Okay, we're good. That Alleluia moment when your border lines up. Well, I had that. And then the next night I started stitching the stuff inside. And it wasn't lining up. Why isn't it lining up? I'm counting. All these little pieces here are supposed, I have them 5, except the corners. They're supposed to be 6 stitches. I'm like, there's no way I'm ripping that out. So I went and I found a little pattern that I could still salvage the fabric. I'm not sure how to finish this one. I have some ideas, but I haven't decided yet. But I just wanted to show that, so if you run into that issue, there's ways you can salvage fabric. So that's really cute, and I'm glad I found that finally. Took me forever. But this is my other finish. Okay, Queen Anne's Lace, Nora Corbett. This is stitched on 32 count Jobelin and Georgia Peach by Fabrics by LJ. I had this stitched in April 2016. So why am I showing it to you? When I was done stitching it, or while I was stitching it, I thought, you know what, she'd be cute in another colorway. So I toyed with different ideas, went back and forth. And this is on 32 count Jobelin because I wanted them to be close to the same size. Ice Princess by Under the Sea Fabrics. And here she's finished. Ta-da! Her name, Jessie, this is for you. Her name is Lacey Frost. You got Queen Anne's Lace, Jack Frost. I know you like your stories. And that's mine. And she's blingy. And yes, I changed her hair color. Her wings are all metallic. She has a sweater. Okay, I live in Minnesota, people. Sweaters. Yes. Yes, I'm a mom. Do you have your sweater on? She has a sweater. And boots. And I use Whisper for that. But yeah, look at all her beads. Bead, 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 bead. All those beads. She sparkles. And the Mill Hill bead, the main color, I use 3 different sizes of the same color. That's called Ice. Very appropriate. So I have my winter fairy, my cold weather fairy, and my warm weather fairy. Yes, I'm going to share my color conversion. My document isn't quite ready yet. I do have a rough draft, but I have to go in and fix a couple things that I changed. There are some groups on Facebook dedicated to conversions, and I am going to post it in their file section. When I post it, I will change the description box below and say, you know, this is what the group you could find it in. I'm also going to ask some of the general cross-stitching groups if I can post it in their group. If they say yes, it'll be there. If they say no, not a big deal. But I know not everybody's on Facebook. More power to you. If I didn't have my stitching groups, I don't think I'd be on Facebook very much at all. I would still have an account because that's the best way to keep track of certain friends and family, but I wouldn't be on it very much. I'm going to do a video where I'm going to walk through what I did on here. And literally I will say, okay, for this color is the Krennic on the original, and I used this Krennic instead. You'll have to take your own notes, but I'll do that video. Also, you're going to have to track down your own pattern because I am not sharing the pattern. It is from the April 2016 issue of Just Cross Stitch. At one time it was a free download. I don't know if it is anymore. I will say, if you print it off either to stitch the original colors or these or your own, I strongly urge you to print it not in toner save, because there's some symbols that are really, really light on that particular pattern, and having it on photo or auto will be easier for you to read in the long run. So yeah, those are my 2 finishes and my almost finish. A couple things I picked up this month. I ordered this from Fiberlicious. It's called Wisteria Gardens. It's a light lilac-y color. I had originally thought that I would put Lady of Mystery on this piece of fabric. And then after I ordered it, kind of hemmed and hawed, and then I ordered it. You can see the modeling. It's really light purple. Well, that's not too bad. Very, very light purple. Then of course, she came out like the next day or a couple days after with this one. Both of these are 32 count Belfast. Rolling in the Deep. Yes, she is going to look gorgeous, and yes, I pulled the fibers. And this section here, some of the fibers disappear into this, but where that color is mostly used would be in this purple area. So I think it'll look fine. So I have those pieces of fabric, and then I went to Stitchville Marines by Vickery collection. They had Army, Coast Guard, Navy, Air Force, yeah. And I thought I'd put my son's, I might put my son's name here on the day that he officially became a Marine after the Crucible. Nora Corbett, Lily. And I am not getting the Stitching Bits and Bobs fibers anymore. I've chosen, because I like my collection of Carrie's fibers. I've chosen to go with Fiberlicious Fabric of the Month. I'm just getting a 13 by 18 piece. And this is, again, 32 count Belfast Marvelous. Not pretty. Marvelous is the name. And I will be starting, because last month I had 3 finishes. This month I almost have 3 finishes. So after the burst sampler, I'm starting this one. Iris, Nora Corbett, on Marvelous. So I think that'll look marvelous. And I blame Pam. One Nation. I would never have been interested in this pattern until you showed it on your YouTube video. And I'm thinking of doing it on 36 count. And I'd only use 1 strand over 2 threads. So I'm thinking you would have to less skeins. I don't know, maybe you can talk to the fact, I don't remember what count you said you did yours on. Were the numbers of the fibers accurate? I thought you did it on 28 count. Was this an accurate number of skeins? Because if it's 36 count, I might need less. But I really like this. And some people were stitching this and they said that they changed the color of the state that they are living in now, or the states that they've lived in the past. I was thinking I might change, where's Minnesota? Minnesota, where are you? Oh, there's Minnesota right here. They're not in alpha order, they're in order that they joined the United States Union. But I really like this. So I have to get fabric, and I think I'm going to get Leslie's either Properly Primitive or, is it Ancient? No, Autumn. Either Autumn or Properly Primitive for this one. I would never have wanted to stitch this if I hadn't sawn it. So October, I plan on finishing my son's burst sampler, which is good because October is his birth month. Yeah, he's going to be a year old. Hard to believe. And then probably work on Grasshopper Pie a little bit. Have my new start, Iris. And it's really great because my grandma always had irises and they were always purple. And every year we'd go down in May and the irises would be blooming. My dad is from Kansas. So that'll work great. So that's my plans for October at this point. I might go to another stitching opportunity. I had a chance this last month to go and just stitch with the ladies. It's so nice. If you can do that, you know, whether it's an hour, I went like 5.5 hours. It's so nice. Just sit there and stitch and talk stitching and laugh and get to know ladies. We just have ladies in our group right now. Gents would be invited and welcome, but right now we only have ladies. I think that's all I have for now. I'm not sure when I will get that video for Lacey up, but when it's ready, I will definitely let you guys know. And then if you want the conversion, track down the pattern and you can use my color conversion if you want. There's one bead in there that's not a Mill Hill bead, but I will suggest a Mill Hill bead. And then if you don't want to use Mill Hill beads, that at least give you a starting point. But yeah, I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to work a little stitching and veg out in front of the TV a little bit before my mind needs to shut down. And yeah. I thank you all for watching, hearing me babble. I thank you for subscribing. I thank you for your lovely comments. Someone commented about the Lizzie Kate pattern. I'm going to get back to you on that from my video last night. Sorry, I'm blanking on your name. You know who you are if you're watching this video. I'll get back to you on the Lizzie Kate pattern. But yeah, keep making your videos. Love your videos. love to meet each and every one of you somehow, someday. But, yeah, I'll say goodnight.